females, I said, God, I feel like God has made us like natural born detectives.
Yeah, the intuit. Oh,
yes. I said, we don't always use it for the right things, but if we want to find out something, it doesn't take much to put the pieces together. And it's like, oh yeah, girl, like what you trying to figure out? Oh yeah, I do this, or whether we making fake pages, we are very quick.
Not the fake pages though.
Just being real. We are very quick to find out information. So I implemented that in my candle research.
I am creating a Patreon. A Patreon is essentially like an exclusive community. Supporters, their fans, they come in one area and they get extra stuff. So I have 3 different tiers, and it is a membership. So you have to pay a small fee per month to be a part of the Patreon. But what I am giving compared to what you have to pay per month, pennies compared to what I am giving. Please click the link in the description box. I am so excited. It's just gonna be so dope. If you like my free content now, baby, the Patreon. If you're on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. But if you're listening on podcast, I'm basically saying like it's just up a whole nother level. Get your water and get some wine. I should have had some wine.
With exposure, execution, and consistency, there is nothing you can't do. Just keep planting.
Hey y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode on the Responsible Homegirl podcast. I am Kiani, the Responsible Homegirl, and this is a space that I have created so young adults can become financially responsible and wealth conscious. So today, on this episode of Think Like a Mogul, I have no other than
Ebeny.
Yes. For one, before we get started, y'all, let's get into the set. Because it's giving Oprah.
Because we had to set it up.
Okay, and the wine is real sweet. So y'all know, I created Think Like a Mogul because I really wanted to highlight the greatness that we have in our own backyard. Mm-hmm. I feel like South Carolina is very slept on, and it's easy for us to just be on social media and glamorizing what other people have going on in different areas. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to use the Responsible Homegirl as a way to share stories and then inspire more young adults to actually go after what it is that God put on their hearts or what they want to create.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it. So I always start off with asking my guests, can you tell me an irresponsible financial decision that you ever made?
Yes. When I first got started with business, I did not necessarily do my research about business credit, but I had somebody who told me that I needed to go ahead and get a business credit card because I personally had great credit. And it was like, this is how you build, and go ahead and use it. And I think the intentions were great, but in the moment I wasn't really thinking, of course, if you have great personal credit, you think business credit is just the same, right? Which it is. However, I used everything that I had on that card, and to this day I am still paying on it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't missed the payment. It's just the fact of why. Right. And for what I was approved for, I was like, I could have done something else that would have just made way more sense than, decor and things that I can honestly just use my personal funds for. So I am building credit, but it's not in the best way.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm happy that you shared that story because I had a conversation with somebody else and we were talking about like the balance on your credit card. It continues to go up and up and up because people don't pay attention to that interest.
Yes.
So the interest just continues to compound. So thank you for sharing that.
You're paying
more
than you borrowed.
Exactly. You're paying way more money than what you actually borrowed. So credit, we want to use it to our benefit, not our detriment.
Right.
Yeah, it has its uses, but make sure that you're like actually, using it so it's not costing you.
Yes, and don't be afraid to ask people what is it best to use it for.
Yeah,
because I have a lot of people who's like, I couldn't even get it. You got it. And it's like, yeah, but I didn't really. I'm so used to personal credit, but it's like you didn't really, lay this thing out, like what was the smartest move for what you got approved for. But yeah, we live and we learn.
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing that. And I always ask my guests to start off with that because the name of my brand, of course, is The Responsible Homegirl. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't arrive at being the responsible homegirl. Like, I made plenty of irresponsible money decisions. And I just want everybody listening right now to know that even if you are making irresponsible money decisions, it is okay. Yeah. The first thing that you need to do is, one, recognize, and then two, make the steps to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now let's get into this episode. So Ebeny, can you tell my community how you grew up, what it is that you create? Because we didn't even tell the people yet. So basically, like, just give us some background on, like I say, how you grew up and what kind of led you to your business that you built today.
Okay, I'm from Georgetown, South Carolina. Not necessarily the county area, but from North Santee, which is a very small community. I always said we're in the cut where there's no reception and service, and you got to travel 25 minutes to get to Walmart. But that's the area that I grew up in. I grew up in a 2-parent home, so I had a lot of support. And I've always been like the child who wanted to make people feel better, per se. I had no idea it had anything to do with my future, but I was a very weird kid. I would go massage my aunts and uncles and grandparents' feet and tell them it's $5. Or I think it was $10 for feet and like $5 for their hands. You know, in my mind, I'm making you feel better, but business is business. You know,
give me the money.
Pay me something. But I've always had a desire. Anytime somebody wasn't feeling well, it's like I need to come up with a solution. So after going through high school, I'm also very creative, and I remember saying I want to be a fashion designer, and I just wanted to be in the arts, and there's nothing wrong with that. And my dad was like, okay, that's great, and you can do anything you want to do, but I want you to do some research on how fast it is to elevate in a field like that. And I hit a stumbling block. Keep in mind, this is like before entrepreneurship was booming the way it is. So it was like, be realistic and just come up with a plan B of something that you could grow quick in. Yeah. So with my love for wanting to help people, I kind of tapped into athletic training. Okay. I interned in that for like, I believe 2 years upon graduating from high school. And that's actually what I went to school with. Wow. For. And then my senior year in college arrived, and I realized, I started tapping out again when it was time to create plans for individuals and trust that they would do it. Because my question was, okay, if I do all of this and I teach you and I tell you what you need to do and you don't follow through, your body is not going to improve.
Right, it means nothing.
Exactly. So I have like this controlling side, and I realized that I was more in tune with the hands-on component of things, right? Which is why I kind of drifted off into massage therapy, which still had a lot to do with the human body. So that's I got my bachelor's in kinesiology, and then I went straight to massage therapy school. I worked for a resort for 2 years, and then a lot happened with my neck injury, and that's kind of how we went from massage therapy to candles and self-care products. So Escape Haven & Company is a brand that carries self-care essentials such as products like candles and body butters and room sprays. And then the day spa, for the people who knew me, told me I had to add that on. So now we just are, it's 2 sister businesses where product and services both promote self-care.
I love that so much. Yeah. So a lot that I want to unpack there. So the first thing, you said like your parents, they were super supportive, but like your dad kind of told you to be realistic. How did you feel about that? Like, do you feel like it pushed you in this direction, or did that kind of like discourage you from going after what it is that you really wanted to do?
It actually didn't, because it wasn't like a rash decision. Like, my dad had that conversation with me when I was like a sophomore in high school. I still had 2 years to. He really was like, I just want you to take time to ponder your thoughts. So it wasn't even like whatever I came up with had to be my plan A. Like, they still would have supported me if my plan A was arts. But it was like, just make sure you have a plan B of something to fall on. So during that time, I just really paid attention to what else do I fully enjoy. I have never been a person to work in something that was just because it was good money. I have to enjoy everything I do, which is probably why I ended up in entrepreneurship so fast. I have to enjoy it, because if I feel like I'm just working out of obligation, I tap out.
Yeah. I tap out. Yeah. And another thing that I want to point out in your story, you said after college, you studied kinesiology. Mm-hmm. Then right after college, you went to massage therapy school.
Yes.
So what gave you that desire to say, oh, I want to do, like, I know you said something about a neck injury, but, like, give me the story behind that.
Well, they weren't necessarily drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
Kinesiology is very broad. For those who may not know what the heck I'm talking about, that just means the study of the human body. So physical therapy falls under that, occupational therapy, sports psychology.
Okay.
All of that falls under kinesiology in some way. It's just very broad. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're forced to pick a specific path. And like I said, the things that kind of got my adrenaline going was when we would be taping or treating with our
hands-on.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
With our hands. So it's like, well, out of everything, if you actually, because in physical therapy, I can't touch. It's just, you do this, you do that, and I'm just a hands-on person. So like massage therapy was like the only thing that kind of was the light bulb that fit within what I had already learned.
Yeah.
And then I also felt like there was a lot of flexibility that I could do with it, whether I was working for somebody or working for myself.
Yeah. And let's get into just the level of self-awareness that you had like, at that young age, because a lot of people, they don't know. And I feel like even with me right now, like I just released my planners and they were handmade.
I need one.
But, okay, I got you. But I realized that I don't like handmade stuff. Like, I just don't. I'm like, I need to monetize my mind because although I learned a lot throughout the handmade process, patience being one of them, it's just not something that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I feel like throughout your journey, you're going to figure out what it is that you like, what you don't like, and what you can see yourself building for the long term.
And then some things change. So like what I started doing, like at this point, I'm like, I'm not doing it. So like for an example, we are speaking highly about massage therapy because that's really what put the smoke under my feet. But as of January 2022, I retired from massage therapy. So people's like, well, that's like the main. Yeah, but my season for that to me is over because I have to tap into something else. So like I literally only massage my VIP clients who has been with me, and it's more of I treat these clients. I still have a team, but I'm not necessarily so in.
Your focus isn't really on that.
So it changes, and like how you said, self-awareness. I always feel like if there is something, I listen very closely to myself, and I feel like we know ourselves. So if you are agitated by something, and yes, we may just say, well, I'm just having a day, or it's just getting on my nerves, or it's just the person, or it's just but if it's consistently like nagging at you. When that happens to me, I dive deeper. Yeah. And it's like, okay, why was something you love now like a headache? Or why is it not enjoyable? We cannot provide great service if the one thing we're doing is no longer
enjoyable to you.
To me, I can't. It's not the same.
And that energy that you're putting out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to give your best.
And I feel like you're supposed to give people your best. So if you're tapping out, you need to make some changes.
Absolutely. And something that you said that was so key, you dive deeper. Like a lot of people, they try to run away from it, whatever that is, run away from that uncomfortability, that fear, when you should be confronting it and figuring out why.
Yes.
Y'all, this is good already. Oh my God, so good, so good. So now, bring me up to speed. You leave massage therapy school. Did you initially, you say you worked 2 years for a resort. So what made you kind of like pivot into starting your own business? Okay. And then how did you grow it?
I've always somewhat knew I would be my own boss. I know that's how we used to word it back then. So even when I got that great job, I went in there. Of course, I didn't say it on my interview, but within like the first month, I always stated, hey, I'm here to learn because this is what I want to do for myself. So I never started a company with them having this mindset that they were going to have me for 10 years. Right. It was like, I'm going to be the best employee you have, but I have so much goals for myself. This is just part of my training ground. Yeah. Now, the way that it flowed, I did not expect to have a major neck injury. I did not expect to not be able to perform at massage therapy for 3 months or be told that you need to consider another career because your body is not okay with it anymore. So, of course, a lot of drastic things happened that kind of speeded up the process. Yeah. you have jobs, you learn the good, you learn the bad, you are mistreated, you learn so much.
Yeah.
So just during that process, and I remember I have a really great, I feel like I talk to God. God is like He is my homeboy. I feel like he's funny, he is petty, he is, it just depends on what your relationship is.
The relationship, yeah.
So for me, God is like, sometimes we have moments and I'm like, okay. So when how you said, I started getting aggravated, and it's like every day was just one thing after the other. And my friends was like, how can you work in a spa and it's not relaxing? It's a spa. It was the most drama-filled job ever. And it's a spa. Sense. Like, the music is playing and the lights are dim and there's just so much happening, like drastic stuff. And I prayed and I was like, Lord, about to tap out. And he told me, he was like, you cannot leave until your assignment is fulfilled. So I had to pray about what was that assignment. And it had something to do with confronting some things and stating things that needed to be in place before I left.
With yourself or the business?
With the company.
Okay.
With the department, with employees. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not a manager. So who am I to tell other people, hey, you need to be cautious of this. But because of how I grew so fast in the company, people listened. Yeah. Even when it came down to knowing how to communicate to your staff. I didn't know I was going to have staff one day, but there was just so much to learn. And I remember my last week of just communicating that in the most simplest way or the nicest way as possible. And then once I did it, it was like, you're free to go. So like to this day, like if I ever wanted to go back, I could go back. People who have worked there, they follow me now. Yeah. They say, I'm proud of you. But there's like literally no bad blood. But of course, the starting journey to the business, it was not. We're excited because I think a lot of people are excited when it's time to leave their job. Because like, I'm getting away. Right. Yeah, but since you didn't start a plan. So.
Let's be real about it.
Let's be real. Yeah. Like I didn't have this legit business plan in place. And I started my business with $35.
On March 19th, it is going to be our very first Saturday school. And I'm teaching how I make thousands off of a product that I don't own by wholesaling mobile homes. Work smarter and not harder. Because if you can learn from my mistakes, you are expediting your process. Make sure you meet us in the class on March 19th. There are only 20 seats available. Get in the class. Get in the class.
35.
Can we just pause? Because like literally nobody has no excuse, especially money, as to why you are not starting your business. Like literally no excuse.
Yeah, no investors, no loans, no.
Just passion and determination
and obedience.
Right.
That's all it was. So. And if you follow my journey, like a lot of people like, we just don't know what you're going to do next. And I'm like, God literally directs my path. Yeah. So I meet with a lot of people and they're coming to me with trying to get advice because, well, you're doing this. And I'm like, that's not, yeah, that's happening. But there's no grand story of just do this and that's going to happen. Right. That's just how things flowed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So much. It's like, where do I even start? Because it's so deep, but I love it. So the first thing, I feel like throughout that journey, you were being prepared. Because one thing you said, like, oh, I didn't even know I was going to have employees. But you were stepping outside of your comfort zone, addressing certain things, because like you said, you wasn't a manager. Who am I to talk to so-and-so or tell so-and-so something? But I feel like God was using you to build up your voice, build up your authority, build up your power, because you are building something of your own. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about the importance of trusting yourself or even building that relationship with God so that you are guided?
Okay. I know a lot of people speak about isolation, like it's a bad thing. For me, it was the key. Yeah. So for me to hear clearly, I had to isolate like my day-to-day things. Like I'm not that person who's like, I don't need friends. I do need friends. But once I started this journey to entrepreneurship, I was not a part of everything. You did not see me at every engagement. You did not hear me talking in every group chat every day because my mind was so focused on where I needed to go and just being attentive to how I was being led. So for me, that one-on-one time and just being honest with myself. Now, it was hard.
Yeah.
Of course, I battle like anxiety, and sometimes you're dealing with depression. Sometimes your people closest to you don't understand what in the world you are doing. Because honestly, your transitions come at the most inconvenient
Talk
times.
about it. Talk about it.
So like when you were talking about my parents earlier, like how supportive of me have they been when it came to these crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The way my life has shifted, and I will call home and be like, hey, I'm about to do this. It's never been, are you crazy? It's been, okay, you talk to God?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's what we gonna do.
We gonna see how this play out.
Yes, but it's never been anything that hindered me.
Yeah.
Of course, some things I don't share until I'm about to do it. Or I'll tell you like the week of, yeah, I'm about to move out, or I'm about to, and you're like, girl, what? But I just had to go.
Yeah.
And if I would have ever waited on things to be perfect, I would have still been making candles out of a kitchen. Mm-hmm. I would have still been working by myself. And I would have still been halfway killing myself to just make the minimum ends meet.
Yeah. And perfect does not even exist.
It doesn't.
Like, a lot of us, we do not, and I'm not saying us because I don't do this, but like, I have done it before. Like, I'm so concerned with how I show up that I don't even show up at all. And
I get that, like the perfectionist a little bit.
Yeah, like trying to be perfect Patty. When it's like, sis, no, it's all a part of your journey. You're going to learn. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to, And people love you being your authentic self. Yeah.
I use this for an example. Can I say this?
Yeah.
Okay. In the last 6 months, I told you I'm from the country, so if I get to relax, you could hear, it's like, girl, where you from? It starts like to seep out, it starts seeping out, and like one of the things I used to be hesitant about was like my speech. Like, okay, if you're a businesswoman, you have to be more cautious of like how you present yourself. And of course, you want to be cautious of it, but you still want to be who you are.
Absolutely.
And last October, I was asked to teach a workshop. Like, it's all involving candles, but at this super high-end place. And I've taught several workshops, but when I looked up the place, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And when I got there, it was so beautiful to the point I didn't know where I was at. It was like a bunch of penthouses. I was in there like with my phone, taking pictures, like texting my fiance, do you see this? But when I got there, I remember I was in the car and I prayed. I was like, okay, Lord, are we doing the same thing or am I changing? He was like, be you. Be you. And we had a blast. I was the only African American in that room.
Wow.
I was the youngest. I know I was the youngest because these are like people who have businesses and millionaires and, they're very well off. And I taught the class the same way I would teach any class.
Right.
And they were so relaxed.
Yeah. And
from just that one encounter with that company, they have reached out to me probably 5-6 times.
Wow.
It's just February. I mean, concerning big stuff.
Yeah.
And their residents was like, you've brought community to our place because most of our teachers, they're very like, uptight. And they don't really get relaxed. And like these people, they think they know me. Like when I go there, it's like, hey, Ebeny. Or
it's the personality.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, shoot. But be you.
Yeah.
This is like the first time I've partnered with corporate by just being me.
Yeah. And it's so much power and freedom in that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when people are trying to put up a front, like, the acting doesn't last but for so long. Like, take off the mask and just be yourself and watch how many doors open.
Yeah.
And I always give the example, like, we love Cardi B. We love City Girls. We love, like, all of these people who are their authentic selves. Like, they don't allow people to put them in a box.
Exactly.
And I feel like that should be the same way across the board, even in your business. Like, you don't have to fake the funk.
And the right opportunities will come.
Absolutely. So now, you started this massage therapy business with $35.
Well, the candle business.
Okay, you started the candle business with $35.
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of made you pivot from massage therapy to candles?
Okay, so I was a massage therapist. When I left my job to, my neck injury, like I said, it made me kind of slow down how many massages I was doing. I was not able to do 5 to 6 massages. Even to this day, I can only do 4 people a day. or I'm in pain. So the goal of me leaving my job was to focus solely on my candle business. That was supposed to be it. I wasn't even supposed to be doing this anymore.
Hold up. So while you were at the resort, you had already started the candle business, or you started it after?
I started researching.
Okay. So did you start the candle business and the massage therapy business simultaneously?
I started the candle business with a little bit of candles, and the individuals who knew me, it was like, so you still gonna do massages, right? And somebody I worked with at the resort just happened to have an empty room in their facility. And she was like, well, you can pay me to rent out a room if you just, using a room one day out of the week. I was like, okay, that's cool. So if somebody wants a massage, I got a space. You're not coming to my house or my parents' house. So I have a space for you. But it was just supposed to be, I just take 2 clients a few days, or nothing vigorous. It was literally supposed to be actual side hustle.
Right.
The candles were supposed to be the gist.
Gotcha. Okay, it's clicking out.
Yeah, but the massage business grew way beyond what I intended for it to do.
Right.
So the massages actually brought more people to knowing about the candle business, and then now the candle business takes care of itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm able to go back to the vision and chill out from massages and focus on the candle business, but everything had to flow like that for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your inspiration behind the candles, because that was supposed to be like the initial baby.
It was supposed to be, if I'm unable to provide self-care to individuals hands-on due to my physical ability, I still wanted to do it in a product.
Yeah.
So I know when people light candles, it calms them down. I know that, typically we don't light candles until after we clean the house.
Yeah.
Or we light candles when we're set in the mood, or we light candles to calm down. It's like the intention of lighting a candle is to de-stress in some capacity.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm like, who doesn't love candles? So I did over a year of research of knowing how to do it, which is why my candles are named after the fruits of the spirit, like love and joy. So when you read it, it should somehow calm you down mentally. So it was supposed to be, I still want to get the same message out there, but physically, everybody's not going to come and get a massage. I'm not going to be able to reach the entire world.
Yeah.
But products can.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thinking about your vision in a bigger scale.
Yeah.
So did you start, or just talk to me about the start of your candle business? Did you start this in your home? After the research, did you order sample candles? How did this happen?
I spent so much money. I did what everybody does. You go on Google first, and then you study YouTube. I call it YouTube University.
Absolutely.
And then after you hit a brick wall, it's like, okay, I need to go deeper.
Yeah.
So after that, of course, I got a candle making kit. I probably ordered. It had to be 40-something samples of scents, and it's because I wanted to learn scents. If I smell something, I want to be able to say, that's this.
Yeah.
So every store I would walk in, I would go to the candle section. I wanted to memorize scents. I wanted to see what type of candles do I like. I learned that I like soy candles. I love natural candles because they're not as strong. They're not overpowering. I would buy candles and just burn them to test them.
Yeah. And
kind of see what I wanted my candle line to be. It was a lot of trial and error. Making candles are not easy, which is why I do the candle workshops and the mentor sessions now. But it's not easy. My dad flew me all the way to Pittsburgh.
Oh my God.
To go to a fragrance company. He was so aggravated with me that day.
I love the support though.
Yeah, support.
And the belief in the vision.
Yeah, it's just you still here? And I'm just smelling the same thing. Oh, can you run that back? Okay, let me take a break. But I've done some extensive, I always tell people, how I feel I say God has made females the way he has for a reason. He has made males the way he has for a reason.
Absolutely.
So as females, I said I feel like God has made us natural born detectives.
Yeah. The intuit. Oof.
Yes. I said, we don't always use it for the right things, but if we want to find out something, it doesn't take much to put the pieces together. And it's oh yeah, girl. What you trying to figure out? Oh yeah, I do this, or whether we making fake pages, we are very quick.
Not the fake pages though.
Just being real. We were very quick to find out information. So I implemented that in my candle research.
Talk about it.
I went to visit large facilities and portrayed myself as just a customer who just wanted a tour. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the boxes like, okay, what's that? What's that? And then I'm going home to look up like, what is this? Yeah. Okay, so I need that. Okay, so I need this. So I just went above and beyond to get all the research I could. And I asked like my Caucasian friends, I asked my black friends, because the name of my collection had a Z at the end, and it was like, well, based on your target, that may not sit right. I was just asking people of all backgrounds, because I really wanted to nitpick who I was catering to.
Absolutely.
Especially working at a resort. So like working in such a high-end place, I still wanted to fit within that. So I started my business with, I hear a lot of people get mad because their family or friends don't buy their stuff or support them, but I was like, that wasn't my target. But in the beginning, I understood that, so I never expected support. For an example, from Georgetown.
Absolutely.
It was like, they're not my target.
Right.
I'm from Georgetown, but most of my business was catered to Charleston. So if I needed to make candles in the kitchen in Georgetown and drive my butt to Charleston to sell
that's
them,
what you had to do.
What do you think I was doing during quarantine?
Yeah.
Out my trunk.
Yeah. So much that I want to unpack for that. For one, I want y'all to get into the mindset of the same thing that I do in my day-to-day life, the same research, energy, effort that I put into a man, my friends, social media, all of this stuff. Take that same drive, that same work ethic, and apply it to your business. Period.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just amazed at your research phase. Because I'm the type of person, like, I do a whole lot of research. Like, I'll be on Google all day. Like how you say you on the candle aisle and stuff. Girl, I'm always on planners and journal aisle, just looking and, like, feeling and doing the research. And a lot of people want to skip that step.
No.
Then another thing you touched on. I want y'all to leave y'all family members alone. Stop harassing them people.
Why you in support of me? Why you didn't come to my...
Like, no. Like, it would be nice for them to, like, share, comment, all of that stuff, but they're not obligated to do that. Like, something key that you said was you knew that who you were targeting.
Exactly.
You did the research, and you had to try your best to get in front of those people, not your family and friends.
Yeah. And
leave
be
them
okay
alone.
With connecting with strangers.
Absolutely.
Like, I talk to a lot of people who say, like, they are afraid to network. And I understand. Networking can be intimidating, depending on the setting. So, yes, if you're going to an event and there's a bunch of people walking around talking, you don't know a soul in there. It's weird to just walk up and say, hi.
Yeah.
It's very rehearsed.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're going to have to connect with strangers because the growth of where you're going, like, people are not kidding when they say that it's based on relationships.
Absolutely. And Instagram has made it so easy.
Yes.
Like, I am the slide in your DM queen, and I probably say this on every episode because it's real. Like, even me and you, even though we have a mutual connection, I still slid in your DM.
Yeah.
So it's like, y'all, it's not hard. Get out your own way.
Thank you.
Get out your own way. So in what year did you start your business?
2019. We actually just turned 3 on February the 7th.
Yes. So now tell me a little bit about the challenges that you experienced, or did everything that your hand touched just turn to gold? Talk. You said Talk to me about some of the challenges.
Okay, I'm very transparent. So if you follow me on any platform, you will see that there are days where I get on live with no makeup on. Like, hey, it's been one of those days.
Yeah.
But I feel like one of the biggest challenges is that I've went through 2 fires.
Oh, yeah. I did see that on IG.
Yeah, 2 fires. So even though my business is only 3, we've literally had to start over twice. And like I said on my post, that was with having insurance.
Wow.
So I think just that not giving up or like, I know that this is what I'm called to do. I understand this is my vision. This is not a hustle. Like, this is so much more than me just getting sales. This is like a lifeline. It's a part of my ministry. This is how I'm supposed to reach people. Yeah. So it's not really about you. I always tell people, know how to take care of yourself, which is why I promote self-care so heavy, because when it's time to serve, it is not about you. So
talk about it.
Me personally, especially with what I do, I've had to do I've gone to therapy, a ton of self-evaluation with just knowing how to be strong. Not strong where I'm overlooking what I'm dealing with, but strong of knowing how to combat it.
Mentally.
Mentally, and then still be present to create such a space for people to relax or release.
Right.
And I know especially year of 2020 when they allowed us to open up again, that year was like an eye opener. I wasn't one of the people who went through so much financial struggles per se. When everything opened, I don't know where these people came from. We just popped off. It was like more. I think everybody was more intentional about supporting Black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
And business just took off. But during that time, I literally massaged people who were crying and wailing and would literally come here to just release. And it's like, okay.
This is a lot.
I can't just come to work like, okay, it's just another day, or come in here because I'm hangry and I didn't eat breakfast this morning and you're my first client, and I'm like, oh, I can't come here like that. I have to be attentive. This doesn't mean I'm a psychiatrist. This doesn't even mean I always have to speak, but I need to be attentive to what is needed for that time. So a lot of self-evaluation and personal healing and understanding when a lot of things in my life needed to be cut off. And understanding that a lot of stuff were seasonal. So even business relationships, seasonal. Even if my friends have a business, I can't necessarily always connect with you just because we cool.
Right.
So I'm extremely intentional with everything because I'm just so cautious of what I'm called to do. But that can always, I feel like that's probably one of the most hardest parts of what I do on a regular basis.
Yeah. And when you experienced those fires, did you feel like just any level of defeat, like any level of discouragement, or were you just like, you know what, it's just a part of the
I knew it was a part of the process. When I got started with my business, God revealed that to me early on, that my story would be so that people could see him. So I don't expect, I know this is weird, but I don't expect any part of my journey to be normal because I understand that my platform is created like that for a reason. Yeah. So it's very rare that I'm like, yeah, this is going to go just like this. But of course I have my moments. I do a lot of video diaries. So I have videos in my phone when I'm like crying.
I love that.
What is happening?
And the fact that you're so transparent, because like, I could just imagine myself going through a fire and all my planners like burning up. Like I would be, just tears just galore.
Well, people laugh at me. I was like, when it happened, I laughed. And people were like, why did you laugh? And I was like, because you watch movies and you see it on TV. And it's like, okay, if that ever happens to me, what would I do? And so when it happened, it was like, what are you going to do? And I grabbed my laptop. I was like, my business is here. I can always restore and make things over. But I need like everything that I had saved. Yeah. That's all I cared about in the moment. My laptop and my ID. I think that was all I grabbed.
No candles, baby. Y'all can stay.
We can remake y'all, but we need the foundation. But yeah.
But I feel like in that moment, I would have been so like caught up in my mind. I guess it comes with maturity and just a level of faith. Like the inventory, the money that I put in this, that, and the other. Like, how did you basically just go above all of that stuff?
I feel like
or rise above.
For me, money doesn't carry my life. I do a lot of weird, and I know I keep saying that, but my faith is very
strong.
Like if I'm stressed out and I say I need a massage next week and my bank account cannot afford a massage, I'm the person who will still book it and say I'll have it by the time of the service because God knows I need it. Yeah. And it always works out. 2 years ago, it was my birthday, and my clients was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I need a self-care day because I'm stressed out. And the way people poured into me that day, to me, it's still the best birthday I ever had. It all came from strangers. It was my friends, I love my family and my friends, but he allowed everybody who was connected to me just through business to send. It was crazy. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So I would just be honest with who you are. Like we all have our strengths. For me, faith is a strength. For me, my emotions sometimes can be a weakness. But use your strength to combat your weaknesses, your weakness areas. Yeah, you should be okay.
So you built this candle business, built the massage therapy business as well. So were you intentional? I knew you were. So I want to know the story about it. Like it's not even she intentional about everything. So how did you, I would say, build the brand visibility? Because there's somebody right here, they're watching and they have a product or they have a service and they don't feel like they have enough eyes on their business to help it grow. So how did you do that?
I I did not do that. I'm gonna shout out my social media coordinator, Shaniqua McCants. Mm-hmm. She was doing branding for another young lady who does like conferences, and I reached out. Like we were talking about DMs, slide in those DMs, y'all better
real
slide.
Quick.
You got a question.
Slide.
The most happens is you get left on red, but at least you asked.
Right.
And I asked, I was like, your social media is so appealing, and I feel like I'm learning so much. Who does this for you? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm one of my homegirls. And I was like, can you ask homegirl if she's willing to take on another client?
Yeah.
Because my social media was trashed. I had talked to social media people, and they were like, you need to do this, and I'm just like, I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
And I was just very honest about what my vision was. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, candles and massages was all on the same platform, but it was still confusing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until a year ago that I completely, I think like a year and a half ago, I completely separated the two, mm-hmm. Depending on what were you asking about. And I wasn't as outspoken as I am right now. I created my brand to hide behind it.
Really?
Yes.
Girl, you could have fooled me.
My name was, no, seriously, because I didn't want to deal with the stress. I just didn't want anybody to know who I was. Mm-hmm. I was very in my corner, like, you just know Escape Haven. You don't need to know I was the owner. I rarely tagged it on. I never posted about my business on my page.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
So it was supposed to be something that was built, and I just be the person behind the... but after a year of her working on my social media, she said, I asked her one day to do a post for me. Mm-hmm. And she said, no. Wait a minute, I'm paying you. What you mean? No. And she said, your audience needs to see your skin.
Yeah. And
I was like, my skin? She was like, yes. She said, so what you just asked me to do, she said, do a video and tell people about the sale. Okay. I was like, I don't show my face.
Did you do it?
Yeah, so I was like, all right. So I don't remember what I was looking at, but I picked my phone, and I was working in Somerville. My business was in Somerville at the time, and I posted the phone on my glass, and I was like, hi guys, I have some candles. We need to sell them, and I was like, we need to sell them. Yeah, I needed to sell them. I was like, this one smells like da 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 da. Went to the next one. This one smells like, and I was like, we have about this many left, and the sale is not going to last long, so buy them up. Mm-hmm. I sold out of all the candles.
Wow.
Before the day was over. It was like before 6. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And she was like, told you. So after that, I was like, all right, you were yourself. And I think she was really the person who pushed me to be myself. And I also learned that after being a part of meetings, specifically for small businesses, they were like, it's very hard to grow a small business without you showcasing who you are.
Yeah.
Because people are more keen to follow you or support you, not necessarily with sales, but to be more supportive of what it is that you're doing, unless they know you.
Yeah.
Or at least feel like they know you based on what you are showcasing and sharing. So it was still very uncomfortable because I'm very private. I'm like, I don't want y'all in my business. I don't want you to know who I am. I don't want to go to Walmart and it's like, hey, Ebeny, I didn't come here to talk. But after she pushed me, so I would do it a little bit more like, hey,
I'm back again.
We have a new collection and this is what it is. And kid you not, it's like once I did that, and I don't do it as frequent as I should. She still takes care of my social media, but just with me following up with her and her understanding my vision's voice, she is the one who knows how to convey that to the public.
Yeah.
And some days it may just be an inspiring word. Some days it may just be a candle picture.
Yeah.
Some days it just may be me being transparent because I felt like somebody needed to hear something that day.
Yeah, I love that so much, and I believe that it's so true. Like, people want to know and trust who the person is behind the business.
Right.
And honestly, I'm the type of person, maybe it's because I love business so much and I love people. When I discover a business, the first thing I'm researching is like, who's the founder? Who's the creator? Like, I want to know more about your story and how you built this. And I feel like the people who support us and the people that buy from us, they want, the same thing as well.
Yeah, and they do know it, but it makes you feel more comfortable because, like, people are understanding.
Yeah,
or they're understanding the vision, and it's not stressful at all.
Yeah, and I feel like people are quicker to support you when they understand why you're doing what you're doing because there are a million people selling candles. But what makes your candles speak out?
So different. Or why should I reach out to Escape Haven when I know all these other people that's doing the same thing. And once I did that, I literally became like a plug for so many other candle businesses or people who were thinking about the business, because so much has formed with like the workshops and the mentor sessions. But it's like, if you would have just stayed hidden, nobody would have seen that.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, y'all better be yourself, because
right, and your impact is larger, because it's not just about, you know, just selling the candles, but now, like you said, you're the plug. You're putting other people on and just growing from there.
And just the story alone, it really gives people. I learned, which kind of made me sad, but I learned that there were a lot of people who were watching me who were hesitant and moving forward because they assumed that it was this so drastic walk, or there was something that I just knew that they didn't know, and I was like, no. So like this year I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be a little bit more intentional about being transparent. So like, I was so glad that you asked me to do this, because that was one of my goals this year, like speaking up more about the BTS or things people don't really know that we deal with. So when you get done watching it, it's like, oh, okay, so I can do this. So I don't need everything to be perfect to move forward.
I feel like in a way though, we can look at successful entrepreneurs and kind of like look at them as like superhuman. Yeah. You know? So I really want y'all to literally like just, I don't even know the words, but like, people are people.
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah, relax. Like, I don't know why we put people on a pedestal. That's a better word. Like, put people on a pedestal. But they had to start from somewhere. And this is why I love Think Like a Mogul, because it helps young adults see, like, you may not be where you are right now, but you have to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for this, y'all. Yes. My soul is just like, I just feel so warm and fuzzy right now. So now we're about to head into our soul food section.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. So everybody watching, y'all know I'm from King Street, South Carolina. Super country. I come from a family that can cook really good. Soul food is my thing, okay? So what is your favorite soul food dish?
Oh, I gotta choose.
Yeah, one.
I'm just gonna say turkey leg, because I had that this week with the gravy and the rice.
Yeah, that hits every time. So now, tell me a crock pot story. I feel like we live in a time right now where it's very microwavable. People want things instantly. So tell me about something in your life or in your business where you had to slow cook.
Oh, okay, I got a good one for you. As determined as I am, I feel like I can do anything I want to do, and if I set my mind to it. I had a desire to have my house or a home since before I left my job, so like 2016, 2017, and I had the funds. I just needed to work in my job another year. Okay, great, awesome. We were making money. I just one more year, and then I got hurt. Yeah. And then all the money that I saved for my house had to go to just my bills because I was hurt. Yeah. And then I was like, okay. Then my parents were like, well, you could just move in with us for like 6 months to save the money to get your home. So it's like saving makes sense. Okay, cool. I moved home for 6 months. I was home for 2-3 years. Wow. I believe it was about 3 years. And then God told me that I could not work towards my home anymore, and I just needed to focus on my business. Him knowing that was like the biggest desire of my heart. You're going to tell me that I cannot work towards something that I really need? Yeah. And I have to commute from Georgetown to Charleston every day? Yeah. Because my business is based in Charleston, and be exhausted? Huh? No, seriously, I was like aggravated, angry, and I would be complaining every day. And my mom was like, until you stop complaining, it's not gonna work out.
Thank God for the mamas that always keep it real.
Just fussing. You just keep complaining. But it was a lot. Yeah. I would make candles and have to carry all of them and put them in my truck and then bring them all. So long story short, getting a house as an entrepreneur is very hard. Because you are not providing a corporation stability. You are saying, I can maintain all of this and I run a corporation. Right. So March of this year, it's a new year. March of 2021, God gave me the okay to finally start back. Okay, at this point it's been 4 years. Like, what are we doing? But okay, we're gonna start back. There was no drastic savings or anything I had. It was just go ahead and start. And I started in August 25th. I closed on the The same house that I fell in love with 4 years ago.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. In the same exact neighborhood.
Wow.
On the same road 4 years ago, that when they told me no, and I got the keys to my house as an entrepreneur.
Wow.
With no other income.
What is for you will not pass you.
So that was my crockpot testimony. It was like, when you get your house, you're still gonna be my house is the best thing. I'll go there. I'll take my work home any chance I get, because I'm so happy to just have a place of stability.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my crockpot.
I love that.
I know you didn't
so
call
much.
it a testimony, but that's the part of my testimony.
No, girl, we need it. I love that. So next question, the itis. So once you eat some real good food, you're just tired. You want to lay on that chair. Tell me something that you're tired of seeing. Maybe it's on social media. Maybe it's what people talk about in regards to their business, their money. What are you tired of seeing?
I'm tired of seeing business owners make statuses on a weekly basis of why they are changing their prices or why their prices are what they are, and telling us we don't understand what all goes into it every single week.
Talk about
instead of just targeting their target audience. That is my major. You see how my veins are like popping? That is like my major pet peeve. So if you are a colleague of mine and you tried it, I've sent you a message like, you need to stop.
Yeah. And let me give y'all some game really quickly, because in the beginning I struggled with target audience, because I feel like that word is a little misleading, because we think of audience and we think of like a group of people. A target audience is really like an avatar, a person. Who are you strategically speaking to? Exactly. Yes. So the content that you create, how you market, your products, all of this should speak to who it is that you're targeting.
Yes.
So literally come up with an avatar, a name, an age, where they live, what they like to do, what kind of music they're listening to. Like, just all of that stuff is going to help you with your messaging, help you with promoting and marketing your brand.
Dang, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest to say, I didn't really find my target. I didn't find my target right. I knew who they were, but I didn't know how to get to them.
That's another thing.
I didn't know how to do it.
So how did you get to your people? Because I feel like that's another thing. Even I have struggled with that. I'm still experimenting. Like, how do we reach the people that we, want to serve?
I got the closest thing next to them. I realized as a business owner that it was easy for me to connect with other business owners, and other business owners are not going to argue with me about stuff that only business owners understand. So, I talked to my coach. She was like, okay, so now you have another target. So that's like, business owners have become like my target A audience. My other target is still target B, but business owners are my target A. Yeah. So those are the people I went after, and I actually prayed that, at least for massages, I asked God, I wanted a clientele of influence. Because I personally don't feel like all this, I know how to do sales because I've worked in retail. It's great. However, I don't feel like that all the time. So I ask God for clients of influence. I want people who, like, if you come to me, I know you're going to go tell 15 people, and I know that they're going to be of your same caliber. Right. So it's not like I'm going to have to deal with foolishness. And that's what I started targeting. Yeah. When you started targeting business owners understand the game. They started targeting more people, and then more people. So my target went from, I didn't even know the type of people I was massaging until 2 months later, you see them running for Senate or, no, seriously, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Right. But I treat everybody the same. It's just be intentional about, you'll never catch me arguing about prices, or you'll never catch me. I don't even do certain pop-ups. People feel like
it's not aligned.
It's not. And it's like, well, I got to support you because I know you. You got a totally different target. Your target audience may complain that my candle is $22. Right. I'm not going to attend. I will send a donation, but it's a waste of my time.
Absolutely. Y'all, this is the fast round, so I'm not going to dig deeper into that, but I got to say it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because sometimes, no, it's good. I love it. I started it. Sometimes, and I have done this myself, so I'm speaking from a past experience. Like, in the beginning, we're so hungry for eyes.
And we just take anything.
We're all over the place instead of using our time to be intentional with what it is that we need to be focusing on.
Thank you.
So take my advice and take hers, please, and really create that one person who you want to target. And like she say, get to the closest thing next to it.
Because it's not about quantity, baby.
Right.
Y'all need to read some books. If you're not, read books on millionaires, read books on these very successful people. They are not servicing hundreds of clients.
Mm-hmm.
They may be servicing 5 clients, but because it's quality clients, everything is set in stone, and they are so stress-free.
And because your products are quality, it keeps people coming back to back to back.
Exactly.
Okay, so next question. So we talked about crop box, so we talked about the itis. Can you give me your go-to? So you know that one meal, it never disappoints no matter what. So what is your go-to? What keeps you filled up, motivated, inspired to, build this amazing business?
That's a hard question. That's actually, dang, you got me quiet for a change. What is my go-to?
You need this no matter what. It never disappoints.
Time with God. I hate to be deep, y'all, but that's the only thing that keeps me from saying,
the source.
I am not going to give up today.
Yeah.
That's it. If I don't make time for that, y'all will see me just falling all apart, and that's it.
Yeah. And I don't think, like, the way you said it was like, I just feel like more people need to prioritize that. Mm-hmm. Like, even with me, like, there was a time in my life where I would, as soon as I wake up, I'm going to Instagram. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going through something, Instagram is not going to get me out of what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. So I just started off with reading a devotional or reading one chapter a day. Like, literally, time with God. I wake up in the morning and I feel like that girl because of what I'm reading, what He's pouring into me. So
and your days are just so much. That doesn't mean it's not going to be aggravating, but like everything just goes over your head because you're just in this sacred place with Him, and like nothing else matters.
Worry less. I'm trying to get to worry free. Yeah. But right now, just being transparent, I'm like at a worry less.
Baby steps.
But then every time He comes through, you're just like,
then why was I even? And that's how He talked to us, right? Like, look at that one. just a going fool. Don't even know what's waiting on the other side of the door.
Exactly.
Just walk. Like, just go. Like, that's how God talks to us. So we just need to get out of our mind sometime and just wheel it in. Yeah. And whatever that is, if that means you need to take a day off, I have had days like that where I'm like, I'm taking off the weekend because I can't perform. And I would just get quiet. Yeah. Like, okay. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So the last and final question. That's good. So, when you bite into, like you said earlier, them turkey wings, you're like, this is good. Close us out with some words of wisdom to anybody, or I would say an aspiring entrepreneur, or even a new entrepreneur. Just some words of wisdom that you just want to leave them with on this episode.
This is a statement I always say and I always advertise. You can never become a great leader until you are great at being a student. And you'll forever be a student. If you ever tell yourself you are no longer a student, do not expect to grow past where you are.
Absolutely. I love it. We couldn't end it no better than that. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning back into the Responsible Homegirl podcast. Like I always tell y'all, we do not level up alone. So share this episode with your homegirls, your homeboys, all the people. Yes. I'm going to make sure and I'll put all of your stuff like in our description box so that they can follow you, connect with you. Okay. And y'all always remember, with exposure, execution, and consistency, there is absolutely nothing you can't do. See y'all next time. Thank y'all again so much for tuning in to the Responsible Homegirl podcast. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Comment what stuck out to you today. What are you going to take away? Do you have any questions? Anything that comes to mind, comment it below because I want to be more engaged. I want to interact with you, so that can help me and it can also help you. Number 2, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate us. I believe we are a 5-star podcast, and I believe that other people need to know that as well. Give us a rating, please. Give us a review. And what I want to start doing is actually reading reviews so that I can just create a more engaged community. So as y'all help me out, I'll be shouting y'all out. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you that keeps tuning in. Not one time a week, but 2 times a week. That's big. That is big, big, big. I love y'all so much. See y'all soon.